All right. Okay. Topic for today. Stop worrying about money. Money worries no good. So if I could take a second to break down these lessons, flow into it like the money goes, but you never know how it's going to all work out, so you just got to understand what it's about. So breaking it down. It's a nice day. Feeling good. That's how I could get myself in the right spot so the money flows, so I can get the knowledge to help other people get there too, and build up a society of people that know what to do when it comes to money and making it and holding it, instead of just flowing it to somebody else that controls all the wealth. So gonna get into what I know about worrying and money. Gonna talk about what to do instead of worrying about money, how to make money worry go away. Looking at kind of stuff people worry about when it comes to money, and just pretty much like go into the pros and cons about it. So don't doubt it that you can get to where you want to be. Some clearly I can see. It's because I would have to say, the first time I really understood this, I always realized, like, worrying's not going to get you anywhere, even though, I would worry about stuff at least as much, if not more, than the next person. But, I would have to say playing poker and understanding that there's something about poker to where, like, if you worry about the money when you're trying to make a decision, like, you're probably not going to make the right decision. So yeah, really in this game, it teaches you how to, like, disregard the value of money, because you have to play and just think of money as chips. You can't let yourself think about money, and that's a really important life lesson that I didn't understand would pay off in so many more areas of life when I was learning it when it came to poker. And really, like, so let's say when you're playing the game, what you want to do is you want to make the best decision based off of your intuition and the information that you have. And there's so many different ways, like really subtle ways, to get information, and you learn this through poker. And so, like, when you're taking all the information in regards to a situation, you should be going off of just that information and your intuition. As soon as you start thinking about, like, well, how much money you could lose, or how much money you have on the table or something like that, like, it clouds your judgment, and it'll make you make a decision based off of monetary value, and like really something that doesn't exist. It only equates to people's collective understanding of how much, like, a piece of paper or a certain amount of money is going to give you value. Is not really something that you should be making a decision based off of. So yeah, you learn how to in that game, it teaches you how to basically take the worry and take the money out of the equation. And that's what really, what I'm trying to talk about today, and what I'm trying to, like, show people, is how to help them understand that when it comes to success with money, you really have to, like, not think about it. Like, some of the richest people are people who already have so much money that they don't even care. Like, it has no value to them because they have so much of it. So they don't really think about that when they're doing what they're doing to make more money. So yeah, I would have to say also, then, when it came to starting a business, um I noticed that really had me stop worried about money. Like, when I was looking for a job all the time, and even when I was working at jobs, and working at two jobs at the same time, like, I was still always worrying about money. I was, like, working at the job, but I'm, like, getting paid per hour, so there's nothing I can do to work harder that's really going to give me more money. And I was still always thinking about it. And I noticed when I really actually started my first business, I started a business with some friends that wasn't really my business. But when I started my own first business, and I knew it was all up to me, and I was, like, excited to get started on it and everything, like, that really, just working on that took away a lot of the worry for the money. And then I was able to really focus on the business and just providing value. So the idea of like how much money is this going to bring in, and all that, all those worries really went away when I started that. So yeah, there's no guarantee that nothing will work. You just have to create value and hope for the best. And really, that's what I was doing with that business, and I didn't really see that at the time. It was just something that I kind of like fell into. So then I just realized now that as long as I'm working and creating something that has value for other people, that I can't really worry about the money, because you never know. There's no guarantee that anything's going to work out. You just have to hope for the best. So really, I would have to say, start creating something. Anytime you catch yourself worrying about money, like not having enough money, you want to be thinking about more, like instead of worrying about not having enough, you want to be like thinking about like grateful for what you already have, and thinking about like how good it's going to feel when you do get the money that you want, however much that is, whether it's like millions or hundreds of millions, whatever. So yeah, start creating something that is going to provide value, that you feel like you're an authority at, that you're good at. The best kind of work is creative work, because it really requires like full focus. Like you really have to focus 100% on what you're doing. I mean, you don't have to, but that's going to bring the best results and the best quality, and that's what you want to do, is provide the most value. So like, that really takes your mind off the worry, and then you would look at, the kind of work that you usually do at a job where you get paid hourly to do something that you already know how to do, so you can almost do it on autopilot like a good driver. When you're driving a car, you don't really think about it too much because you've done it so many times, and it leaves your mind a lot of room to like focus on other things. So when you're doing something mindless, you're kind of like locked into that, and your mind is like, well, I should be doing this or something like that. So the creative focus work, not only is it going to build more focus in the future, but it's going to make it really hard for your mind to go into like places where it's going to worry about something, and then like what you focus on is what you're going to attract. So you focus more on that worry, you're going to get more worry, and worry about how you don't have enough, and it's just a downward spiral. So a lot of worrying is really due to not having enough information. So if like you already knew how to solve a problem, why would you worry about solving that problem? If you already knew that you could do it easy, that you've done it before, why would you worry about it? It's all about the information, all about getting the right kind of information, knowing how to act on it, being aware that you are even able to do it, like not doubting yourself that you can take whatever comes at you, whatever step you need to take next. So yeah, putting the right information together, and then also combining that with intuition. Just like I was talking about earlier, how I learned this concept through poker. So yeah, and really like going on with this, fear is associated with learning something new. Fear is a huge obstacle when it comes to progressing and shifting your mindset and your personality to really get to where you want to be. So yeah, fear comes from learning something new, and worrying obviously is comes from not having the right information. So if you're afraid of learning the right information, you're gonna worry more. So you gotta put yourself in situations that are gonna cause you to push through this fear, and just keep doing it over and over again. You'll just be comfortable learning what you don't know. It won't even become a fear anymore. You'll just get to a point where any kind of thing you need to learn doesn't even seem like an obstacle. It seems like it's something that's pleasurable, something that's going to be fun to learn something new and learn a new skill, and you'll just get better to the point where you can just pick up new skills like pretty easy, and you can just know exactly what you need to do to find information, which I mean everything's pretty much on the internet nowadays anyway, so anybody can direct themselves to what they need to know pretty quick, learn a new skill, realize what kind of skills are ones that you can learn, ones that are worth learning, and ones that are worth outsourcing and hire someone else to do. So really, you just gotta make a firm decision that you're gonna stop worrying about, in this case, about money, about whatever it is, but just for right now, like I would just say to myself, like, yeah, I'm just gonna stop worrying about money. Every time I catch myself worrying about money that I'm not aware of, I'm just gonna, start doing something creative and productive that is in turn gonna bring me a lot more money. Just provide value, just something that creates something that's gonna help people. Create something that I enjoy doing, like it's like a hobby or something like that. So once you make that decision, really look at what you're worried about. Some people say it helps to write down really like what your main worries are, and then like what caused it. Look at write that down. Write down what the possible solutions are, like all the things you could think of that you could either like do something or not do something. Even not doing something would be a possible solution, and then you can like write down the pros and cons, consequences that might come, everything like that. So yeah, writing this down is pretty important. Really, just need to make that decision. Make that decision that you're gonna push through and figure out what you need to figure out to solve your problems, and then there's no reason to worry about it. Can keep the money coming. Another big way to not worry about money is pretty much a main theme throughout all the information I'm trying to put out there and provide with people with is like having multiple sources of passive income. And I could go on and on all day about why multiple sources of passive income is superior to any one source of income. I mean, obviously the main reason is multiple sources of income. There's multiple of them. You have one source of income and that is gone, then you have to start all over again with nothing. You have multiple sources and you lose one or even two, you've still got more. You can multiple sources, you can just keep on creating them. So there's a lot of other things with that about mindset, like I mean really, like I feel like the majority of people out here, they were just never taught that. They don't have that mindset. Their mindset is to get a really good job that pays really well. Job security, stuff like that. Like, I mean, once you understand multiple sources of passive income, there's no reason that you would ever think that you're going to find financial security in any kind of job. I mean, you could obviously work at a job and build multiple sources of passive income at the same time. But really, it's the multiple sources of income concept and understanding that, which I can do multiple videos on that. I'm sure I will. Anyway, got carried off for a minute, getting back to the topic at hand, which is worrying about money, how to stop doing it. So yeah, when you encounter situations that might cause you to worry about money, you need to like take note of these so you're conscious about what they are, so that in the future you can handle them better. Which all you really need to do is decide ahead of time, like how much of like a certain situation are you going to put up with before leaving. Like if it's not doing you any good, if it's just causing you more to worry about money, and how much longer are you going to keep doing that thing. How much longer are you going to keep like putting up with that person or that situation. So just like realize that ahead of time, like at what point are you going to just like leave it alone, and then there's no reason to worry about it because you already know how to handle it. So also really like I've heard some studies and it makes sense to me looking at like my own self, but most of the stuff that people worry about doesn't even happen. Like when people write down their worries, like all the things they worry about, and then later on they reflect on that, really none of that stuff usually happens. And from I know personally, like it's always the stuff that I'm not worried about, the stuff that I would never even think of, that seems to like cause the most problems and become the biggest like trials for me to go through. But I never really like know that's coming, so how do I prepare for that? That's kind of the stuff that I know I'm on the right track because it's causing me to grow the most. And sometimes it's counterintuitive because you might think that you're not doing the right thing, but as long as you're following the right process and having the right mindset and you see these kind of obstacles, I feel like that's when you really know that you're moving in a positive direction, because that's where the growth is coming from. So it also helps to avoid a lot of media, a lot of the news, a lot of negative influences, really, because that's what, that's the news realizes. And like advertisements, a lot of advertisements, a lot of just traditional media, they realize that negativity attracts the most attention, and that's what they're trying to get, is attention and views and likes and stuff like that. So even social media, a lot of times, a lot of times certain social media platforms more than others will have a lot of negative stuff, a lot of depressing news, stuff like that. Oh, this is just going to cause more worry, going to put you in that negative mindset. So yeah, it helps to avoid that kind of stuff. So also understanding that worrying does a lot more bad than good. Not much good is going to come out of worrying. Worrying is not going to help you. Just got to stay away. Let's focus on the positive, as I would say. Get rid of the worry with no delay. Pretty simple concept. Moving on to the next. You gotta just decide, make another decision to create a more positive mentality. Worrying, look at it like negative, the negative charge of the battery. You want to have that positive charge. More positivity, the better. Is going to put you in that mind frame where you're going to find yourself in more situations where the things that you want are going to be presented to you. And you just got to change and get to that mindset, and that comes through not worrying about the money, not worrying about anything. But like as I said before, I'm just focusing this video on money. So this is like universal law that you can apply to everything, but in this case I'm looking at how it applies to the money. Piling up the stacks, clacking the racks, cashing them in like chips. So another way to really stop worrying about it is to invest your own money, flip your own money, make those decisions on your own. Don't pay somebody else to do that. Don't hand that over to somebody else. Like just really look at a skill of investing and learning that skill and finding the information that you need to learn how to be a better investor. So that way that you're gonna instead of paying somebody else, that money's gonna go to losing a little bit of money at first, and that's how you're gonna learn. But over time you're gonna get better, and you're gonna worry way less about what the market's doing and all that stuff, because you're gonna know how to handle every situation. And you're gonna make a lot more money. Most investors who understand this make a lot more money than people who pay somebody else to handle their finances. And I mean, you work all your life, you work hard for your money anyway. Why would you want to go through all that just to give that to somebody else, right? So yeah, flip your own cash, right? Flip the dough. Don't give it to someone even if they say they know, because you're not going to learn that way. It's going to be up to them. It's going to be in someone else's hands. It's going to take yourself out of the equation. Just go cut out the middleman and do it yourself. So all this goes into really showing that you just got to realize that mistakes will make you better if you learn from them. So take accountability when things go wrong. Try not to blame it on other people, other situations. Just look at what you could have done differently. The more mistakes you make, the faster you're going to get to where you want to be, where you're going to be better. So yeah, instead of worrying, just take action. Start learning something new. Start applying your mind. Start focusing on something else, something positive. And really, you're the biggest factor to your own state of mind. I would say next would be like the people around you and kind of your environment. But at the end of the day, you're the one that can consciously make the decision to be who you want to be and get to where you want to get to. Plus, worry and stress is really bad for your health. A lot of these are really bad. A lot of people out here are just, burning themselves out, working too hard, when all this money they're going to be making is just going to pay for their health bills because they're so stressed out from what they're doing, because they're not really doing the right thing. They're not really following what they need to follow that can have them providing value to people. They're just putting themselves in a situation that they think they're supposed to be doing to get a paycheck so that they can pay their bills, and something fundamentally wrong with that. So that's why I'm out here trying to educate the people, trying to provide people with value, trying to show people that there's a better way to be living out here, where you can make way more money and enjoy life a lot more than pretty much the cultural norms and standards that are set up in place right now. It's going to be about it for today. The new message of what I had to say. So if provided you with some value, hopefully it did, go ahead and hit the likes. Leave any questions or comments you want. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell notification right next to the subscription button so that you can get first access to the newest videos when they drop. Taking it from the top of my head every day. Just using intuition and knowledge to say what I gotta say. Until the next time, I'm out.